What's up? How's everyone doing today? This is my first F1 video. Well, I guess the first series I've done on this channel, and I thought, why not make it a good one? So we're gonna do a real season start, and we're gonna do it with Valtteri Bottas. We're gonna see if we can win the championship with Valtteri Bottas, because everybody's talking about Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, who's gonna win the championship this season. So I thought, let's add a third contender in it. Let's see if we could bring Bottas to the top and win his first ever Drivers' World Championship. And yeah, that's the whole idea of it. See if we can win race by race, close the gap, and hopefully by Abu Dhabi, we'll be within range to potentially win it. If we do win it, great. If not, it'll be a shame, because it is an 89-point gap. It is going to be very hard. But we'll see how much of that gap we can close down. And yeah, so we're into career mode now, and look at the engines, they've been pretty shot. It's a tough one for Bottas so far this season, so we had to change all of those, and it looks like towards the end we are probably going to have to take some grid penalties. So we'll have to pick and choose where we do that. Maybe we do that in, we'll have to do that maybe in Monza, but we'll have to do it in the races where we could get some overtaking, because we can't take too many grid penalties. Every win and every point is going to be super important, and we have to hope that Lewis Hamilton gets a DNF in a couple of these races, because it's going to be tough. It is going to be tough. But anyway, here we are in Spa. We're going to go into qualifying one here, and it's going to be an easy get out. We shouldn't have any problems. I mean, we're in a Mercedes, we're in the fastest car in the grid, and on this game it's even faster than the Red Bull by quite a bit. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like the constructors' battle is going to be that close, which is a bit of a shame. It would have been nice to have a strong fight with Red Bull, with Max Verstappen and with Sergio Perez. Maybe we will, but I know in this game the Red Bull isn't as strong. But here on our first lap in Q1, we have a bit of problem through the middle sector. We hit the wall, which isn't ideal, and that's going to lose us time, especially as we have front wing damage for the rest of the lap, and we are 3/10 slower than Vettel, and we do stick with the time. We managed to get out in 10th place, but obviously having that as your first qualifying lap, hitting the wall, it's not the best. You want a clean lap, you want to be able to, feel comfortable around the track, and when you're hitting the wall, it's not ideal. It really isn't, because you don't have the confidence going into the future laps. We come around the same part of the track again. We're losing the car. We're struggling. We're almost drifting around these corners, around the same part where we lost it last time. And as we come into the fast left-hander, we clip the curb and we spin it. It's what we do. It's what I do. I always spin it. If you've seen my shorts channel, I seem to spin it every race by the looks of it. So now we are in the end of Q2. We've got 20 seconds to go, so this is the lap that we have to make count. We spin it, we crash it on this lap, it's over. We're starting in P15, which we do not need. It will make it very difficult, and we can't have it. But this lap so far has been pretty good. We have the fastest sector 1, we're looking strong. It's looking like a solid lap, like we're going to get out, and we get it wide here, and we go into the gravel. Luckily, we managed to keep it under control, as we are still 4/10 up on the lap. And thank you, Jeff. And it didn't look like we ruined the tyres that much. So we got out of Q2 pretty comfortably. But then again, we had the McLarens and Lewis Hamilton all qualifying the mediums, which isn't ideal for us. We're going to be the only ones on the softs, which makes it even more crucial for us to, even get on that front row, so that we can get away from them at the start of the race and not be stuck behind them. So here's our first lap in Q3. We're coming up Eau Rouge up here, and it's got to be a solid banker lap. We want to be within the top 3, top 4 in the banker lap. So then if we do mess up on the second lap, we don't have to worry as much. It wouldn't be as big of a hit, and we are doing well through here. We had the fastest first sector, I believe, but in the second sector we did struggle a little bit. As we come across the line, we are currently sitting in 3rd place, 4/5 off the front 2. Lando Norris eventually beats us, so we need to find 4 or 5 tenths to potentially get in the front row, maybe even pole. And yeah, so coming into turn 1 in our last lap here, we lost a bit of time. We lost a tenth. We went a bit wide. We didn't hit the apex where we wanted to, so we are a tenth down coming into the first DRS straight. And these are new tyres. The first lap we did on used tyres, these ones are new, so it should be easier for us through this middle sector. We should be able to find some time. And as you can see, we've already found a tenth. We've already got that tenth back, which is perfect. Because now the rest of the lap, there was towards the end of sector 3, we did lose a bit of time, which I know we can gain back, maybe a couple tenths. And coming through here, we were up a tenth and we lock our front tyres. And that's cost us 2 tenths. 2 crucial tenths. And now it's all playing catch up. We're just going to throw our car into every corner, see if we can find any time. Because we need 4 or 5 tenths improvement. That's the only way we're going to improve on our lap. We go a little bit wide there, getting in a little bit of time. Come through here, nice and tidy. And we gain about 2.5 tenths. So 2.5 tenths up, it's not enough. We need another 2 tenths from somewhere to even beat Norris. So we need to find 2, maybe 3 tenths if we want to get on the front row. So we're going to have to brake late here. I made a mistake here locking up my tyres in the... I think I locked up my tyres. But anyway, we come through here, we brake late and we gain 2.5 tenths. So it's a much better third sector, which we needed. As we come across the line, I don't think it's pole, but I do think it's an improvement from where we were originally, which was P4. We're going to have a look at the scoreboard up here. It did feel like a decent lap other than that one mistake. And yes, cheers Jeff, but we are 1/100th away from our teammate and just a little over that away from Ricciardo, which is very frustrating because I felt we had it. You know, that one mistake cost us.
We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula 1 World Championship. It's a race the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher in 1992. With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Daniel Ricciardo has a clear view ahead from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have a Mercedes, Norris, Charles Leclerc and Perez, Verstappen, Gasly, Vettel and Carlos Sainz, Stroll, Tsunoda, Esteban Ocon and Fernando Alonso, Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin, Russell and Nicholas Latifi. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
So here we are in Belgium for the first race of our series, starting in P3. It's not an awful qualifying, I would say it's an okay. A little bit disappointing that we were less than 2/100ths of a pole and 1/100th of our teammate. But the advantage we do have is these first few laps will be on the softs, they'll be on the mediums. So we can get maybe a better start than them, and hopefully we can get out in front and create a little bit of a gap so we can help ourselves later in the race and give ourselves track position, which we will definitely need. We're going to go for the soft medium strategy, see if we can preserve our tyres a little longer throughout their stints. Towards the end they'll be definitely worn down, but we need every advantage we can get, and hopefully we can get the race win. So here we go, 5 red lights in the Spa Grand Prix, and away we go, and we get a good start. Ricciardo gets an unbelievable start, but we get up the inside of Hamilton. Can we get past him? We go tight into turn 1. Coming out, we should have better traction than him, as we are on the softs, there in the mediums. And we get better traction. We get up ahead of Hamilton with Leclerc following us from behind. And Leclerc is up in a P3. And look at that, they go side by side up a Rouge. Can Leclerc stick it ahead of Hamilton? Yes, he can. He stays ahead of Hamilton. But we're going to have to use all our ERS down here because we don't want them getting on slipstream and catching us up. So we use our ERS, we stay ahead as behind us, they're going 3 wide, Norris, Leclerc, Hamilton, who's going to come out on top? Norris backs out of it, Leclerc stays with it. Can Leclerc stay ahead of Hamilton? Yes, he can. Leclerc gets ahead of Hamilton, Leclerc in the P3, Hamilton P4, we're up in the P2. And we're just going to chase down Ricciardo. Hopefully Leclerc can hold up Hamilton and Norris, and we can have a bit of fresh air, and we can get moving and do our race that we want. And lap 4, Leclerc held up Hamilton pretty well, and Hamilton is 1.7 seconds behind us. But coming up a Rouge, we're going to get a run on Ricciardo down here. We've got DRS and ERS flying, so this should be a pretty easy move. We got the inside of Ricciardo, we get past him before the braking zone, we brake late, but we brake too late and we go too far, and we go off the track. And coming back on, we lose it a little bit, go on the grass, and we've lost 2 seconds to Ricciardo almost, which puts a big dent in our race, and it was very frustrating, that was, and it was just a poor move from me. I misjudged my braking zone, and I paid the price. Luckily I didn't crash it or spin it, because that would have been embarrassing, but we kept the car under control just, and I guess we can have a go at him again, which we do 2 laps later on lap 6, coming up on Ricciardo a little further back this time, so it's going to be a little more difficult. But we get DRS again with ERS, we get behind Ricciardo, get his slipstream, and can we get him before the braking zone? We got the inside, Ricciardo moves across on us, and we are very tight, and this time we do clip the curve and we do spin. So after saving it the first time, we had a fantastic start. The race was in our hands, it felt like it was there to win, and we've spun it, we've lost the car, and we're down to P5.
The safety car is being deployed.
And there we go. Jeff telling me about the loose debris, like I didn't know that I just crashed and I was the reason for it, but luckily for us, we crashed just around where our pit stop would have been, so we're going to go on to the hards, as the hards can make the end of the race from here. And the pit stop will be a little extra, it'll be about 5 seconds because of the wing change, but on the mini-map you can see that everybody is coming to the pits except for Lewis Hamilton. So just like Hungary in real life, everybody's in the pits but Lewis Hamilton, and we come out of the pits. It'll be interesting to see where we get out. We came in P5, but obviously we had that wing change. So coming down the pits, we overtake people still in there. We come out in P7, and I think P7 in that scenario is not bad. I will happily take that. And there's Jeff telling us that's our last pit stop, and that'll be most people's last pit stop. And here I couldn't quite believe it. I was checking with everybody. Vettel is DNF'd, so everybody has pitted other than Lewis Hamilton. So he looks like he's gonna go mediums to softs, I'm assuming. But he has to get away in these opening laps and create a bit of a gap so he doesn't come out too far behind. He's got a lot of overtaking to in this race. Anyway, after the safety car restart, we weren't close enough to Alonso. We were a little too far back, and instead we were just focusing on keeping Stroll behind here instead of attacking. And we need to get past Alonso as quick as possible, because up ahead we have Norris, Perez, Leclerc, Ricciardo and Hamilton. So we needed to get ahead of these guys, because we needed to get ahead of Alonso so we could stay with these guys, as they're the ones that we're going to be fighting. And here we do, on lap 9, we get close to Alonso, we're coming up behind, he goes a little bit wide coming out of that corner, so we get the outside, coming into here, we brake a little late, he keeps up the inside, now we get the inside for the next turn. Can we get out, can we get a better traction? No, Alonso gets a better traction, so he stays ahead, but we need to make this move done as soon as possible. We come up to turn 1 here, we get around the outside of Alonso, can we make it stick? Alonso going up the inside, he's a fantastic driver. You saw it in Hungary, how good he is defensively, so we're struggling. But coming up here, we're going to wait until we get past the Rouge, until we get into the DRS straight. It should be a pretty simple overtake. We don't have DRS because we've got to wait 2 laps until after the safety car, but we have the speed, we have the ERS, and it's a pretty simple move on Alonso. We get it done before the corner, and now we can focus on chasing the front 5 cars, and we're on P6, but realistically P5 because of Lewis Hamilton. He has to pit again. But anyway, 2 laps later, in a lap 11, we catch up to Perez pretty quickly, and we're coming up on Perez. Yellow flag for someone back there, but we come up on Perez. Can we get up the inside? We got up the inside here. Can we get a move done? Braking late, and no, it's very close. It's side by side. Stay with Perez. We're not going to lose it. Gasly retires from the race, but we've got side by side action here with the Red Bull. We've got the inside of the hairpin. I think it's going to be done here, but Perez sticks around the outside. He's staying around the outside. He's still there, and we come up into the next corner. He's still on the inside. We go around the outside. Can we get away? Eventually, we get away from him. And now we can focus on pushing towards Norris, but Perez. He thinks about going at the inside again. And he goes a little wide, taking evaded action. I don't know what he was thinking, trying to make a move at that fast left-hander there. It was never going to work. But we get past Perez, and now we're into the top 3 after Hamilton and Leclerc pitted, because Leclerc had to pit again because he went into the mediums, which was an interesting strategy from him. But anyway, we're 4 seconds behind the McLarens. It doesn't look like we're going to catch them. Stroll and Perez behind us, but a lap later you can see Hamilton on the softs is storming through the field, and this is worrying me a little bit. Now he's in 4th place, and I was wondering how much pace does he actually have. Is his tyres gone yet, or does he have more pace? And what made me worry even more is what Jeff says here.
It looks like we might have an issue. Hang in there, we're attempting to manage it.
So an engine issue with our charging Hamilton on a pair of softs behind you isn't ideal, and it doesn't look like we were catching the McLarens anyway. So P3 looks like the best we could settle for, and we might have to do some defending on Hamilton towards the end of the race.
It's not good news, I'm afraid. Seems like an engine issue.
It's not ideal. An engine issue, and in other career modes, an engine issue usually means you lose pace, lose 1 to 2 seconds. But on lap 20, 2 laps later, we're closing that gap to the McLarens, and we've kept that gap to Hamilton. So it didn't really seem to be an issue, which was quite weird. I guess they fixed it straight away, or I don't know. But the McLarens up ahead, they're fighting quite a bit, and as you can see, that gap is getting lower and lower, and it's gone down a second and a half, and we're almost below 2 seconds. So we are catching them as they're fighting side by side. Zach Brown must be going mental in his pit box, because the McLarens, they're letting me back into this. They're letting Mercedes a chance to have another potential race win. So we're closing on the McLarens. We've got 2 laps to do this. Ricciardo up ahead. Norris, who's taken the lead, could win his first ever F1 race here. But yeah, we've got to try and close that gap to Ricciardo. And before the next DRS straight, we've got to be within DRS range. If we get DRS, then we can close that gap even further, and maybe we can get second or even a race win. So I'm very motivated here, because 2 laps ago, I was told my engine was done, and there was no chance. So this is a bit of a revival of life, I guess you could say, for Bottas. As 25 points is certainly on the cards, but we get a poor exit coming out of turn 1. It doesn't look like we're going to be close enough for DRS, so we have to hope that the McLarens maybe battle it out a little more, so we could close that gap and potentially get past them in the next lap. It has to be the next lap, otherwise we're going to have to settle for 3rd. So we are pushing as hard as we can. We're trying to see what we can do. We've only got 10% ERS and we're very low. And a lap later, it just didn't work out. The McLaren seem to be playing nice with each other now. I don't think Ricciardo can catch Norris, so we're losing a bit of ground on them. Maybe the engine issue is still playing a factor. We just can't get them. Maybe I'm still a little slower than them because of it. But who knows? The McLarens were just too fast around Spa. We couldn't catch them. They get the 1-2 for the first time in a long time, and McLaren 1-2. But we come out with P3 ahead of Hamilton and Verstappen, so I can't be too upset. But it could have been a lot more, let's be honest. So P3 in our first outing. We'll take it.
What a great race then, and what a magnificent victory here at the Belgium Grand Prix. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
As the winners make their way up to the podium, one can only imagine the celebrations that will take place at McLaren tonight. Congratulations to everyone on the team, securing the win and proving they're a force to be reckoned with out on the track.
So there we have it. P3 in our first race. Not awful, but could have definitely been better. We could have. I think if we don't spin and we don't crash it there, I think we go on to win the race because we had the pace. We could have got away, and maybe it would have been between me and Daniel. But there's a lot of if, buts, and maybes. But anyway, we move on to Netherlands. We got that 87-point gap, so we need to start winning races.